So maybe you're lying awake at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, or you fall asleep just fine but wake up at 4 and can't get back to sleep. And you're thinking, what is happening to my body? Why can't I sleep anymore? My friend, if that's you, this episode is for you. Today I'm sharing what's actually working for me right now to get better sleep during perimenopause and why sleep matters so much for weight loss. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, my wonderful friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, I want to send an extra special warm welcome to you. I am so glad you are here. Welcome to the Biking Wellness community. So today we're talking about sleep, and specifically how to get better sleep during perimenopause and menopause, and why it matters so much for weight loss. And here's the thing. Sleep used to come so much easier to me. I could fall asleep, stay asleep, wake up, and feel rested. I notoriously used to fall asleep at concerts. That's how easy it was for me to fall asleep. And it just wasn't something I ever really had to think about. And then perimenopause hit, and suddenly I'm waking up at 3:30, 4 a.m., and I can't get back to sleep. Or I'm having the most vivid, wild, crazy dreams that wake me up. Or I'm just lying there staring at the ceiling, wondering what is happening to my body. And listen, I know I am not alone in this. I talk to women about this all the time. So many of you have told me that sleep is one of your biggest struggles right now. So today I'm sharing what's actually working for me in terms of sleep. These are my down and dirty tips, the things I'm doing to get better sleep, and things I'm doing when my body seems to just be constantly working against me. And before I get into the strategies, just really quick, if you're listening in real time, I do have just a couple one-on-one coaching slots available. If you want personalized support with your weight loss, movement, meal planning, getting more sleep, all you have to do is email me at stacy@sassy.com. That's STACY @SASCY.com. Or DM me on Instagram at Sassy Cycling. That's SASCY Cycling with the word interested, and we can chat about what will work best for you. Okay, let's get into it now. And before I really get into all of my tips on how to get more sleep, I need to talk to you a little bit about why sleep matters so much in terms of weight loss and just our general lives. First of all, the more sleep you get, the less you are going to eat. There are studies that show that when we increase our sleep, we are naturally going to eat less. And this makes sense, right? So if you're not sleeping, you're awake. If you're awake, you're more likely to eat. And you might be more likely to eat, whether it's from boredom, emotional eating, or because you're tired and feel like you need more energy. So that's one reason why sleep is so important. The second reason is that you might actually be hungrier when you don't get enough sleep. So studies have shown that hormones send signals to our brain that we're hungry, and that these hormones actually increase when you haven't gotten enough sleep. So it's not even that you just are like out of control or emotionally eating. It's that your brain could just be telling you you need food when it's kind of confused because what you haven't been getting is sleep, or you haven't been getting enough water. Your brain's actively getting messages from your body that you're hungry, and these messages can increase when you haven't been getting enough sleep. And third, the more you sleep, the more energy you have to move your body, the more energy you have to go through your day. So when we get enough sleep, we have more energy to ride our bikes, to go for walks, to go for hikes, to strength train. Whatever movement it is that you're doing right now, you're going to have a lot more energy to do that if you get enough sleep. And when we're moving regularly, we feel better. We feel healthier. We want to make better food choices. We want to fuel our bodies well. So sleep is just intrinsically connected to all of those things. It's not this nice to have. It's one of the most important factors, actually, not just in weight loss, but in our ability to get through our day. Okay, so now that I've convinced you how important sleep is, let's talk about how to get more of it, the ways that I'm actively getting more sleep right now. So the first strategy that I want to share with you is I want you to decide your sleep number, and not like the sleep number bed and how firm your mattress is, but how much sleep do you want to get every night? And I want you to make it a priority. The first thing is to just decide, how many hours of sleep do you want to shoot for per night, and make sure that you get it or try to get it. So most research says that 7 to 9 hours is kind of the sweet spot. I personally shoot for 7 to 8. Realistically, I'm probably getting 6 to 7.5 or so every night. The idea is for you to listen to your body and pick a number that you think will work for you. And here's the thing, you don't need to go crazy and try to go from 4 hours of sleep to 8 hours of sleep overnight. That's probably not going to happen. Try actually just getting yourself maybe to bed 15 minutes earlier. That is going to be a great place to start. So if you're normally getting 6 hours of sleep, see if you can get yourself to bed 15 minutes earlier so you can get 6 hours and 15 minutes of sleep. The idea is that you can gradually increase the amount of sleep over time that you get so that your body can more naturally accept it and more naturally adjust. And then you really need to make it a priority. Make it important. Make it more important than watching that extra episode on Netflix. Make it more important than scrolling social media on your phone. Make it more important than staying up late to finish that chore or that one more thing for work. You are going to be so much more productive in general if your body and your brain are well rested. So that is why it is so important that you make it a priority. So that was strategy number 1, is to choose a number and make sleep a priority. Strategy number 2 is to be consistent with your bedtime and your wake times. And you have probably heard this idea before, but it is really helpful and really important. Our brains thrive on routine. So if you go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every day, your body is going to get used to this. Your body is going to expect it. Your body is going to start prepping itself for sleep. If your bedtime is all over the place, it can take longer for your brain to actually get the message that you'd like to go to sleep. And again, we've all been there. We've all been reading that book that's just so good or watching just one more episode of that show. But I know it isn't always possible to get to sleep at exactly the same time, and life happens, but whenever you can, try to be as consistent as possible with your go to bed times and your wake times. And I know that this is really tough for some of us, but you want to try to be consistent on the weekends too. It's really not possible for our bodies to quote unquote catch up on sleep over the weekend. So try to be still pretty consistent with your going to bed times and your waking times on the weekends too. So for me, I generally try to be in bed by 10 p.m. every night, and I wake up around 5:30 or 6 in the morning. That's my routine. That's my ideal. I don't always hit it, but that's what I shoot for. And my body has grown accustomed to expecting that this is what I want from it. Okay. So that was strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 is kind of in the same vein, and that is to have a wind down routine. So this one has been such a game changer for me. A wind down routine kind of signals to your brain that it's time to settle down, that it's time to go to sleep. And for me, I shower before bed. It is actually a great way, especially during these winter months, to make myself kind of feel ready and cozy. I get into my pajamas, I read on the couch for a little bit, and all of this signals to my brain and my body that it's time to go to sleep. What's not so great is a lot of times I will fall asleep on the couch and then I wake up and then I have to trudge to bed. Ideally, you want to fall asleep in your bed, not on the couch, but I haven't mastered this one yet. I'm not perfect either. And one thing you can do actually before bed is you can have a nice warm cup of tea. And I love tea, but I personally don't drink it too close to bedtime because I try not to wake up to go pee in the middle of the night. So if you're someone who loves a cup of tea before bed, just know that it might not be helping your sleep if you wake up or you have to wake up to use the bathroom because you drank a bunch of tea before you went to bed. Now, the contents of your routine aren't necessarily as important as the consistency. So pick 1 or 2 elements to include in your wind down routine every night. And then try to start there and kind of build from there. Like I said, you might consider reading a calming book. You might consider a sleep meditation. Those are amazing. I have the Calm app and I absolutely love it. a sleep story, whatever feels good to you. The key is that you do it consistently so that your brain learns the pattern. And you may have heard no screens before bed. You may have heard like no phone, no TV, kind of stop the screens and the TV maybe a half hour to an hour before you go to bed. And I'm sure that that is really super helpful, but I am terrible at it. I'm almost always falling asleep in front of the TV, and while the TV's on, I am pretty good about putting my phone away and not really scrolling before bed. But the idea here is that if you can minimize some of that exposure, that can really be helpful to you too. Strategy number 4, watch what you eat before bed. Okay, so stay with me. This one's important, especially if you're having trouble either falling asleep or staying asleep. I've noticed that if I snack too close to bedtime, I sometimes have a harder time falling asleep and staying asleep. And especially if I'm eating a lot of sugar before bed, that can keep me up too. And I really like kind of gummy sugar candy, and I always want it before I go to bed. And that probably is not helping my sleep at all. So if you're struggling with sleep, try just not eating too close to bedtime. Try to have dinner earlier and give your body a couple hours to digest before you go to sleep. And also pay attention to what you're eating. If you are hungry before bed, I'm not saying don't eat and starve yourself, but try not to have something super heavy or super sugary that might be interfering with your sleep. Again, this is only if you're having trouble. A lot of people can eat before bed and sleep just fine. But if you are kind of struggling with your sleep, you might want to look at what you're eating and how long before bed you're eating it. Okay? The next strategy that I want to talk to you about, the next kind of down and dirty thing that I've discovered in the past couple of years is using earplugs to get better sleep. And this one might sound super silly, but it has helped me so much. I just use the cheap drugstore foam earplugs, and I put those in as I'm falling asleep. And what I've found is that it helps me stay asleep. I can generally, for the most part, in most circumstances, fall asleep pretty easily, but I will wake up and I won't be able to fall back to sleep. Like my husband shifting in bed will make me up. The dog walking around or the dog licking herself will keep me up. Any kind of little sound in the house can wake me up, but the earplugs have been keeping that from happening. And when I'm kind of doing my natural rousing after a sleep cycle in the middle of the night, they help me focus on getting back to sleep because I'm not starting to hear all of those things that are going on around me. So if you're a little bit of a light sleeper, or if you wake up really easily, you might want to try just using some earplugs. It might be exactly what you need. And like I said, the cheap drugstore ones are the best. They actually block more sound than a lot of the fancy earplugs. I've looked into them. I've noticed that. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just buy some drugstore foam earplugs and give it a go. See if it works for you. Okay, my next strategy is to consider a sleep tracking device. Now, this isn't for everybody. I will completely acknowledge that you can get so wrapped up in the day-to-day of the sleep device and get kind of almost like if you're weighing yourself every day with the scale, it can be really demoralizing if you're not using it in a way where it's just information and it's just interesting. But I have an Oura ring now and I absolutely love it. It tracks how many hours I'm asleep, what stage of sleep I'm in, how long I'm in each sleep stage, and how often I'm waking up throughout the night. It's just really useful information. But here's what I love actually the most about it. It reminds me when I should start winding down for bed. It'll be like, okay, bedtime's approaching. You might want to start thinking about your wind down routine. And that I found really helpful and really useful. And the data and the numbers are also great for providing useful information. If you have this like kind of target sleep number that you're looking for, this amount of sleep you're trying to get every night, and this can help you know if you're reaching it, and that's great. And it also can help you know if you're not and help you brainstorm solutions to try. I will say a lot of times I think that I got a lot more sleep than I actually did. So I find that this is really helpful in terms of a reality check. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe you went to bed at 9 o'clock, but when did you actually fall asleep? This can kind of help you figure out all of that. Now, let me be super clear. You don't actually need an Oura ring. They're expensive and they cost like $5.99 a month for the subscription. An Apple Watch works just fine too. There are so many sleep tracking devices out there. Just find the one that works for you. But I just personally find that having that data can be really useful and really helpful. Strategy number 7, if you are really having a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep and it is really interfering with your life, please consider talking to your doctor about it, because this is something that I finally broke down and did, and it has been really useful and really helpful. So I remember, I think it was early December, I just was not sleeping and I was at my wit's end. And so I called my OBGYN office and I said, like, this is what's going on. Can you help me? And they said, yes, we actually have a menopause consultant and we can set you up with an appointment with her. And again, this is a little involved. It involves an appointment. It involves working with someone. It involves a bunch of back and forth. But there are things that they can do to help you. Things like birth control, hormone replacement therapy. There's birth control pills that are specific for women who are in perimenopause. And hormone replacement therapy can help with sleep during menopause and perimenopause. I actually had tried progesterone about a year ago, and it gave me dreams that were so crazy that I only tried it for one cycle. I really didn't give it a good shot because I was like, this isn't working, and I threw it out the window, more or less. But now I'm working with a menopause consultant at my OBGYN office, and I'm trying some new things. And here's what I've learned about this process is that it really can take time. She told me, listen, we're going to try this, and it could take a couple of months for your body really to even out and adjust to the medication. And I almost gave up after the first couple of weeks again because I really felt like it wasn't working. But I stuck it out, and now I'm a little bit further into it, and things do seem to be better. I'm totally in the messy middle, my friends. I'm totally still working on all this stuff and trying to figure it all out. And I really encourage you to do the same thing too. It can take time. And if you're struggling with sleep though, it's better to, in my opinion, feel like you're moving forward and that you're doing something about it than to just continue to be miserable and continue to not sleep. It's not only hurting your energy levels, it's not only hurting your ability to get through your day to day, it's hurting your ability to work out, to ride your bike, to move your body. And if you're trying to lose weight, it could very well be impacting that as well. Sleep is just so important. So please, please, please do not suffer in silence. You don't have to just push through it. If you need help, ask for help. It's one of the best things that I did because now I know that even if this doesn't work, I have someone in my corner who can help me try something else. Okay? My next strategy, again, this is just the down and dirty, what's working for me right now, is that timing matters with supplements. So I take creatine. It's one of the supplements that I think is very useful and valuable for women, especially in menopause and perimenopause, in terms of helping with muscle mass, but also with energy levels and brain fog. It's been great for both of those things for me, but I have heard some people say that creatine can actually keep them awake and can impact their sleep. So I always take mine in the morning, and luckily I have really not seen any difference between when I'm on creatine or not in terms of my sleep. I did notice a lot of bloating, however, with creatine, and it was making my periods really painful. So I did kind of back off on it for a while, but now that I'm working with someone and working on hormone levels, I'm finding that I am starting to incorporate it back in, and it is not causing the same kind of issues with bloating and with stomach pain that it did with me before. So again, it's just a lot of testing and finding out. Here's what I want you to know. There will be stages of our lives where getting the sleep we need is going to be challenging. And if you're in this perimenopause, menopause stage that I'm in right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It also was a challenge for me when I was pregnant. It was a challenge when I had to take care of my son and breastfeed my son. And when we have these life circumstances, our circadian rhythms can change and make the sleep more difficult, make getting the sleep that we need more difficult. But the key is to just commit to testing and finding out what works for you. I've just shared a bunch of my strategies. You may have some as well. And oh my goodness, please, please help a girl out and share them with me. Email them to me, email them to me, DM me these strategies. Let me know what's working for you. I really, really want to hear from you, because the further I get in, the more I realize that what works for me now isn't the same as what worked for me when I was younger, and probably isn't going to be the same as what will work for me as I move through this process. Also, the idea is to be kind of patient and to try different things, figure out what works best for you, give things some time to work. Like I said, with the hormones, I almost gave up after a couple weeks again, but now I think that this might be actually working for me. Who knows? A couple weeks from now, I might feel completely differently. It's a process, but no matter what season you're in, what I would love for you to think about is how sleep as a priority and working towards getting more is going to make you feel so much better. Your body, your weight loss efforts, they will absolutely thank you. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, Stacey, I need help figuring out what will actually work for me, not just with sleep, but with my weight loss, with my movement, my eating, all of it, I hear you. I've got you. And if you're listening in real time, I do have a couple of one-on-one coaching slots left. So we will be working together to figure out what works for you, your body, your life. I will create a personalized plan for you that fits your schedule and your goals. You'll get weekly check-ins with me, daily text and email support, and just have someone in your corner helping you figure all of this out for 30 days. If that's something that you are interested in, if that sounds like something you need, just email me at stacy@sassy.com, STACY@SASCY.com, or DM me on Instagram at Sassy Cycling with the word interested, and we can chat about what will work best for you. Oh gosh, my friend, here's what we covered today. Deciding, to make sleep a priority and how much sleep you want to get, even if you're just getting 15 more minutes of sleep a night, is kind of step one. Make sure that you're consistent with your bedtime and your wake times. Make sure that you have some kind of wind down routine to signal to your brain and your body that it's time for bed. Think about watching what you eat before bed if you are having trouble sleeping. Try earplugs if you're a light sleeper, and consider a sleep tracker. Finally, talk to your doctor about hormone replacement therapy, about what kind of options might be available if you are really, really struggling. It was the sleep that really motivated me to finally get help, and I am so, so glad that I did. Sleep is one of those secret weapons of weight loss, of feeling good. And yes, it's harder during perimenopause and menopause for some of us, but it is not impossible if you make it a priority. Just pick one strategy from today's episode and try it this week. Let me know what you're trying. Email me, DM me. Be patient. Test things out and find what works for you. You've got this, and I'm here and I'm cheering for you every single step of the way. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, SASCY.com/guide, to get my completely free lose weight biking quick start guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's SASCY.com/guide.